That time when my manager was fired after only working 3 days for laying off a senior employee. At my first job, there was this 60-something-year-old senior employee who was an expert on an outdated software system that the company still used. No one else was ever trained on how to use it, because the company only had one client that needed it in. The senior employee was more than enough on his own to keep the software running. The client wasn't a major source of income for the company, but he had been there for nearly 50 years and provided a steady flow of revenue. So he was pretty important to all the higher UPS. About 6 months after I started working there, a new guy was brought in to oversee everyone in the office. His big thing was efficiency. One of the first things he did was compile a document with everyone's name on it along with the pros and cons of keeping them on. Naturally, he noticed that the senior employee was only servicing a single client and was only responsible for maintaining the out-of-date software. So he called him into his office and gave him a choice. Either he could accept more responsibilities or he would be laid off effective immediately. The thing to note about this senior employee was that he had long since run out of flux to give. He was eligible for pension and had plenty of savings, but the job gave him something to do, and he was good friends with the client, so he kept working past his retirement age. When this new upstart manager came along and started tossing around ultimatums, the senior employee didn't like it very much. He tendered his resignation much to the surprise of the new manager, and by the end of the day, the guy was at home applying for his pension and enjoying his retirement. The new boss clearly knew he'd messed up because he spent all of the next day trying to get the senior employee to come back. He refused. And when the client found out we had laid off his friend, he came to the office personally to tear the new manager a new asshole. He canceled his contract with the company and hired the senior employee directly for double the rate he was making. Corporate found out pretty quickly what had happened. And by the end of his third day on the job, the new manager was publicly fired in front of the entire office and escorted out of the building. It was the fastest I've ever seen someone get fired, but it showed me the importance of not making waves at a new job until you've learned how and why things are done.